Of course, is Santa Clara. We have 6 days and counting to Super Bowl 60. Patriots and Seahawks both arrived last night. They will kick off the festivities with Super Bowl opening night this evening. Seattle, a 4.5-point favorite behind the league's #1 scoring defense and a red-hot Sam Darnold. New England, meanwhile, back in the big game for the first time post-Tom Brady with a new 23-year-old quarterback in Drake Maye. Maye, actually the second youngest quarterback, will be on Sunday, to start a Super Bowl. Only one younger was Dan Marino, who was just 35 days younger when he started what proved to be his only Super Bowl. I want you to hear Drake Maye's former college coach at North Carolina. This is Mac Brown with a whole lot of praise for his former star.
I told scouts when they would come through that he's a Super Bowl guy. Mm-hmm. He'll win a Super Bowl. I think Drake has the upside right now that hope he wins this one. If he doesn't, then there's another Super Bowl out there for Drake. And I think Drake will go down not only being one of the best that I've ever coached, but one of the best to ever play.
All right, so high praise, as one might expect from his college coach, but candidly, right now, he's living up to it. However, there is one factor in this that I feel, at least from a distance, is not getting a whole lot of attention, and that is there is a question mark surrounding Drake Maye right now.
Oh, yeah, he has a shoulder issue that limited him in practice last week. He missed Friday's practice because he was sick. But earlier in the week, it was a shoulder injury. I think this is the play. He dives. This is late in the third quarter of the AFC Championship game. He dives, lands on that right shoulder, so it was affecting him. So 2 weeks between the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl. It's possible they were just backing him off last week so he could be ready. But watch the practice reports. Unlike in the regular season, there's one reporter that's allowed to watch these practices all week. There's a pool reporter assigned to it. So whoever that is this year will be able to tell how many practice reps Drake Maye gets and what his readiness looks like. I don't have any indication that there's a danger of him missing the game, but I think there's a legitimate question as of now to ask about how this might affect him.
All right, so we had Darnold's oblique leading up to this, and now we have Drake Maye's shoulder, and we all know what's at stake. Super Bowls are where narratives get written and rewritten, Domonique, and as we were talking about this in our meeting this morning, you had an interesting one on the conversations that will take place if Maye plays big and wins this game.
Yeah, I think we have to appreciate how big this game is and how outsized our reaction will be to this game. If Drake Maye plays incredibly well in this game and wins the Super Bowl, I think he leaves the conversation of this group of young quarterbacks that he was drafted in, and he then enters the conversation of Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. I get that he doesn't have the same track record, but I think we have to understand that having an MVP caliber season followed by a Super Bowl MVP caliber game, I think there's nothing else, there's no other reason to compare him to Jaden Daniels and to Caleb Williams at that point. He then starts fighting for like the top 5 spot, whether it's fair or not. I think given what he's accomplished and if he can do it in that big game, that's the type of neighborhood Drake Maye will be in as far as our conversations go.
What do you think of that, D. Wood?
No, listen, I agree with Domonique, but I also think that the conversation is going to surround, like, we always use the word infrastructure, coaching. Coaching matters more so in the National Football League than in any other sport. I mean, look, just prime example, look in the Super Bowl. We talked about the journey of Sam Darnold. Well, when did that journey start turning around for Sam Darnold? When he got to San Francisco, when he got to Minnesota, and ultimately with the Seattle Seahawks. All 3 of those organizations are top-notch organizations. And then you look at Drake Maye. The Patriots were 4-13, 2 consecutive seasons, entering Mike Vrabel, Josh McDaniels. Now they're in the Super Bowl. So coaching matters in this league, and you're seeing the effects with both of those quarterbacks in the Super Bowl.
It is funny, and look, I understand. I have been accused of being a prisoner of the moment, of being hyperbolic. But, I mean, a year ago, we were having this conversation about Jaden Daniels.
Right.
Yep. I mean, literally this exact same conversation. Yeah. If you were picking the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now, wouldn't he be 5th? And now here we are a year later because Drake Maye has gone a step even farther than he did. And now we're having that conversation. I guess that's just the world we live in.
Right. The lesson there is about how much importance we put on this one game and playoff success, right? And it's such a – But that, unfortunately or fortunately, that's how quarterbacks sort of get stamped.
Yeah.
And I think if Drake Maye wins this Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes won MVP and the Super Bowl in his second season, right? Lamar Jackson was MVP in his second season. That speaks to what you're talking about, right? Great situations, great coaching and development there. So we will have the conversation a week from this morning if he wins about, like, can they do it again? Is it a new dynasty, et cetera, et cetera? Last year's Commanders, as you point out, are a good example of why we need to.
Here's another good example of it, Dominique. Here's another good example. Every other year, Jalen Hurts is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And then on the other years, he's the problem, right? So that's when he goes to the Super Bowl and outplays Patrick Mahomes, he's a top 5 quarterback in the league. And then the following year, he's not good, and the conversation is, well, he's the reason, he's what's holding back the Eagles' offense. I get it. The whole world has now gone in this direction.
Nah, I think it's fair, and I think Jalen Hurts had an MVP caliber season and played well in the Super Bowl that they lost, but then didn't follow it. So you're right. You have to follow it up with something. But I mean, as we enter next season, this game, we talk about how those island games, Monday night and Thursday night and Sunday night games, like really impact the way we think about players. There's no more islandy game than the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's all by itself. And then we have the whole offseason to prepare for the next season. The last image we have in our mind is of Drake Maye having an MVP caliber season and then throwing 4 touchdowns and beating this great Seahawks defense. It will be well deserved if we're like, hey, maybe we should talk about him with the rest of these guys, with this team that we didn't think, none of us thought was going to be this good when this season started.
And quickly to the point about infrastructure, they'll probably improve at receiver this offseason. The 2 left side offensive linemen aren't going to be rookies next season. The offensive coordinator will never again be hired as someone for a head coach job. So he's in pretty good shape there, I think, if you're Drake Maye looking ahead.
All right, coming up, we have much more from football.
Am I wrong?
Insider Dan Graziano joining the program right now. Dan, good morning to you. What is the injury update on Drake Maye as the Super Bowl is just 6 days away?
Yeah, it's interesting. He was limited in practice all through last week. He missed Friday's practice, but that was due to an illness. So this is a situation we are watching. I have not been told anything from New England to indicate that he might not play Sunday. I think the question is, will the shoulder injury affect him, and if so, how much? And I think the answers to those questions start to come when the Patriots get on the practice field out in, where are they? Are they in San Jose, Santa Clara, wherever they'll be practicing this week? And we see. Now, important to note, there's a pool reporter that's allowed to watch practice Super Bowl week for each team. So whoever's out there will get to see how many practice reps Drake Maye takes vis-a-vis the backups and all that. So I would advise people to keep a close eye on the practice reports from San Francisco this week. Drake Maye, I believe, will play on Sunday. I've been given no indication otherwise. The question, of course, is the shoulder something that's going to affect him?
Patriots set to practice out of Palo Alto at Stanford. We'll see what Drake Maye ends up doing. Meanwhile, the final 2 head coaching vacancies, Dan, have been filled. What more can you tell us, starting with America's team, the Las Vegas Raiders?
Las Vegas Raiders, who love to hire coaches. They are going, it sounds like, to hire Clint Kubiak, the Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator. This deal cannot be finalized until after the Super Bowl, but Adam Schefter reporting that this is the expectation. Kubiak interviewed for a second time on Saturday with both the Raiders and Cardinals, and it seems like the Raiders were the more appealing situation to him, the 1 pick, etc. So the Cardinals pivot, and they hire Rams offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur. This is, yes, the brother of Packers coach Matt LaFleur. Mike has been around a while. He's coached under Kyle Shanahan, who was briefly the offensive coordinator with the Jets, and he's been with Sean McVay the last couple of years in Los Angeles. So he will be the new coach of the Arizona Cardinals, the team announced yesterday afternoon.
That man is living right by weather standards. Dan Graziano, we appreciate the insight for us on SportsCenter. Thank you.
It truly is Groundhog's Day because we have our champ talking about the Patriots being back in a Super Bowl. Damian Woody, good morning to you. What advice do you have for first-timers during Super Bowl week?
Yeah, how about keeping the main thing the main thing? You know, when you talk about the Super Bowl, you have all the pageantry, the tickets, all the things that come with the game that really doesn't matter much as far as the game is concerned. Like, just keep the main thing the main thing. This is a unique opportunity, one that's not guaranteed that you'll ever get back to. And so just keep your focus on the game and trying to win the championship. Keep it as close to game week as possible as far as your preparation. Because once you're a champion, man, you are always a champion.
Come on. This is also the week that you start hearing from family you didn't even know you had. Hey, you got some extra tickets?
That is true.
Only 9 players between the two teams have Super Bowl experience going into this one.
Once upon a time, I asked Damian Woody about the security at the Super Bowl. We did that on the radio. You know what I'm talking about. He remembers. All right, David, what's the one thing besides security, obviously, that you're going to be watching for early in this game?
Yeah, how about Drake Maye legs? You know, I think the Seattle Seahawks defense is elite on all 3 levels. They can really get after the quarterback. And when you look at Drake Maye throughout the postseason, he's really utilized his legs, whether it's critical first downs or even scoring. So I think, you know, watching this early on in the game, how the Seattle Seahawks defense, you know, tries to apply a spy or someone to compensate for how Drake Maye uses his legs, I think is going to be critical in this game.
He is a rushing threat. He has led the team in rushing a few times this season. Damian Woody, we appreciate the insight on SportsCenter.
Inside a week